The WHO says health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity.
This means that a person's mental health is an integral part of health, and it is much more than the absence of mental disorders. It's an individual state of well-being and ability to cope with the normal stresses of life, work productivity, and contribute to his or her community.
Here in Nigeria, conversations about mental health are only beginning to gather momentum as more people are becoming aware of the importance of speaking out and the need to promote, protect, and restore mental health. Joining us via Skype from Lagos is Dr. Memuna Kadiri, neuropsychiatrist and mental health advocate. Good morning, Dr. Memuna. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning.
Now, this year has been brought several dimensions to issues of mental health, especially as a result of the pandemic, where you have to self-isolate, you are not able to socially relate with certain people around you. And that, they say, has put some sort of pressure on the mental state of not just those who are seen to have mental issues, but even everyone. Talk to us from that point of view, how much of a challenge this has brought when we're talking about issues of mental health, especially this year.
Thank you very much. This is a very vital question, and it's something that each and every one of us is currently facing. We are seeing the COVID-19 era, which is a global pandemic, and I would tell us that all of us are collectively dealing with this trauma. It's a collective trauma at this point in time. But the World Health Organization has declared COVID-19 as a global pandemic. But if we have to say from behind the scenes as researchers and clinicians, we do understand that there are some ongoing pandemics that haven't been declared global. And one of them is the increase in the rate of mental illnesses. And that is because of the way COVID-19 happened and the challenges that we are all currently facing. Stay home, stay safe. Some people's homes weren't safe. Physical and social distancing, some of us haven't come to that realization that that is one preventive way that can actually keep us safe. But the thing again is that how else can we move on with all these challenges? It's very pertinent that at this point in time, all of us have to be more intentional and deliberate in ensuring that we prioritize our mental health. Because like we said earlier on, health is wealth, but truly there's no health without mental health. So beginning with each and every one of us, prioritizing our mental health is very key.
When you say intentional and deliberate, how do you mean? Because some persons may not understand how they can be deliberate with ensuring that their mental state is perfect.
Good question. Why? Because oftentimes people will ask you the how to be intentional and deliberate. The how is understanding that there is no health without mental health, and our physical health is intertwined with our mental health. And for holistic wellness, we need to be able to achieve both together. So being intentional and being deliberate just tells you that functionality, productivity, interpersonal relationship, your ability to deal with the day-to-day hazards of life, contribute to the society, work productively and fruitfully is tied to your mental well-being. With these benefits, it is now for us, letting us understand that, look, it's not just about leaving it to chances or by making assumptions, but by mostly being intentional and deliberate and on taking care of our mental health.
Still talking about being intentional now, looking at a place like Lagos State where everything is moving fast, we have the hustle and bustle in traffic for hours on end. How do we get intentional about handling our mental health when all of these factors contribute to even having us mentally down?
Good. The truth is that Lagos will not go away, but you can actually leave Lagos. That's just it. So if you understand this current statement that no matter how fast Lagos is moving and all that, you as an individual, have you identified your stressors? In fact, the first question is, who are you? You have to also know exactly, self-awareness, know what your stressors are. So if you have a meeting by 9 a.m. and you know that From your house to where the meeting is will take like approximately like 1 hour. Why don't you leave like 2-3 hours earlier? So that is what we call intentionality and be deliberate. Don't leave things to chances and tell yourself in 1 hour I'll be there.
But if you have a meeting in Lagos by 9 a.m., you have to leave at 4 a.m. So you won't sleep well.
So you won't sleep well, but after the meeting, then what? So you plan your day. So there are some days, that is what we call emotional banking. So there are some days you will not have the 7 to 9 hours adequate hours of sleep that is stipulated by the World Health Organization. But are there some days you have more than 12 hours of sleep? Are there some days you may have like 2-3 hours? When you are intentional and you bank your emotions intentionally, be emotionally bankable means that deposit the right things in your emotional bank. Adequate hours of sleep, eating right, good exercise. So when you are in deficit and you need them, it's easy for you to go and then withdraw, just the way you deposit and withdraw money in your bank. So with being deliberate and intentional, let us all be emotionally bankable.
All right, one thing you mentioned that I would like for you to expatiate on is the aspect of deficit. How do you begin to know that perhaps there's a deficit somewhere and I have to do something about it?
Good. A lot of times people use the word interchangeably. When they are sad, they say they are depressed. No. So when you are in deficit, it just means that there's one word that has happened, and that one word is change. What has changed in you as an individual? What has changed in you yesterday as against today? These are the things you have to watch out for. And for example, when I talk about sadness, when people use the word, I think I'm depressed or I am depressed, you aren't. You may just be sad. So things you can look at for is that persistent sadness that has been ongoing for not just a day or two, but at least minimum of 2 weeks. Low energy level that has also been ongoing. Loss of interest in things ordinarily you love to do. You want to read your news in TVs every morning, but now you wake up, you don't even feel like dressing up or having your bath, dressing up and going to TVC to read your news. So these are some of the things people should actually watch out for and say, look, there's something going on with me. It can be as common as not even sleeping well or not eating well. Or on the flip side, oversleeping or overeating. So these are some of the deficits people should look out for and tell themselves, or look out for in other people, their loved ones, and say, look, for this number of days or this number of weeks, I've noticed these changes. How can I help you? Is there anything you would like to let me know?
Now, looking out is another aspect that is quite of a challenge in this part of the world. A lot of people will say, I have my own issues. Why should I be looking out for someone? Yeah. We have to deal with our issues. How do we, balance things?
The thing is, this question is so important and related to that emotional bank. You cannot operate from your place of deficit. You can only operate from your place of abundance. So while helping somebody, please don't neglect yourself. So yes, we do have challenges, and that is what the life is all about. The thing is that you cannot run away from problems, and that is why when I'm preaching, I'm talking to people, I'm telling them you cannot avoid stress, because stress is part of our day-to-day life. Even when you are sleeping, you are stressing, your heart is beating, your lungs are functioning, your brain is functioning. So it's only if you are dead that you can be, know that you are free from stress. So for individuals that are trying to help other people, know that you have to be abundant, you have to be surplus before you can help somebody. If you don't have that, you are not going to be able to help, because you can't give what you don't have.